that thou, my God, just die for me. Amazing grace, how can it be that thou, my God, shouldest die for me? Let his Father's throne above draw free so infinite his grace, emptied himself of all but love, and bled for Adam's helpless race. 'Tis mercy all in men set free, for oh my God, if found of me. Amazing love, how can it be that thou, my God, shouldest die for me? No tan rápido, hermano. Un poco más lento. Sí, go ahead. No, más lento, a little bit. Long my imprisoned spirit lay, fast bound in sin and nature's night. Thine eye diffuse a quickening ray. I walk the dungeons framed with light. My chains fell off, my heart was free. I rose, went forward, and followed thee. Amazing love, how can it be that thou, my God, shouldest die for me? No condemnation now I dread, Jesus and all in him is mine. A life in him, my living head, and clothed in righteousness divine. Bold I approach the eternal throne, and claim the crown through Christ my own. Amazing love, how can it be that thou, my God, shouldest die for me? That was just to wake us up. Right, Brother David? It's a little fast. Any favorite ones that you want to sing?
Well, could we do 198
8?
again? I walked
Oh.
out on it last night because my son called.
192? Let me see. Oh, Shepherd Divine, sure. Yes. 192. Oh, Shepherd Divine, I know thou art mine. Thy search in the night was for me. This breakfast is cold, but warm is thy fall. My shepherd, I follow thee. Thy beautiful lamp shineth brighter my way, the glorious light unto thy perfect day. Through pastures racing, through valleys of green, my shepherd, I follow thee. O shepherd divine, I know thou art mine. Thy great heart was broken for me. Thy grace and thy love I picture in now. They kissed upon Calvary. A life that was given to ransom for a soul, a heart that was broken to make shepherd divine, I know thou art mine. I hear thee say, follow thou me. Thy message today illumines my way, the spirit of prophecy. I thrill at thy marvelous love, thy my shape, the way thou dost lead to the still waters deep. O'er staff and one rod, one fold and one God, my shepherd, I follow thee. Amen.
To say those words, I kind of marvel at that.
Mm-hmm.
It's very human.
Yes. That's a nice story you told last night. Any other favorite song that you want to hear? Which is your favorite one? You don't have a favorite one? Anybody? Otherwise, you're gonna let me pick. Let me look for it. I love to tell this story. Let me find it. You know the number? $457? Oh, 457. Yes, 457. I love to tell the story of unseen things above, of Jesus and His glory, of Jesus and His love. I love to tell the story because I know it is true. It satisfies my longing as nothing else can do. I love to tell the story, 'twill be my theme and glory, to tell the whole old story of Jesus and His love. I love to tell the story, more wonderful it seems than all the golden fancies of all our golden dreams. I love to tell the story, it did so much for me, and that is just the reason I tell it now to thee. I love to tell the story, 'twill be my theme and glory, to tell the whole old story of Jesus and His love. I love to tell the story, 'tis pleasant to repeat what seems each time I tell it more wonderfully sweet. I love to tell the story, for some have never heard the message of salvation from God's unholy word. I love to tell the story, 'twill be my theme and glory, to tell the whole old story of Jesus and His love. I love to tell the story for those who know it best, seems hungering and thirsting to hear it like the rest. And when in scenes of glory I sing the new song, 'twill be the old story that Jesus and his love. Oh, I thought you were talking to me.
You know, Pete, we think everybody knows Bible stories, but Dolores' husband had not known Daniel in the lion's den.
Oh,
Can you imagine an American not knowing that one?
yes, thank you. Well, we're very happy to see all of you here. And I know some couldn't make it because it's kind of early, and they actually are some other things going around that we didn't know. There's a camp meeting somewhere in the area, and I know some people wanted to be in both places, but so I heard that we're live streaming it, right? So I guess they get to enjoy it later. And so welcome, and we want to welcome Dr. Tracy Richardson. Thank you so much for coming, for accepting our invitation to be here. And we wanted to do something, and he's been helping me since, I fell from a second floor back in May, and so that's how we get to know him. My neighbors knew him, and of course Richard and Liz, and I heard John also knew him. So we're glad that you see them again here. But anyway, so we wanted to extend the invitation to the rest of the church, right? Because we wanted to do it through the women's ministry, and I thought, you know what? The whole church needs to take advantage of this, and so we'll welcome you and thank you again. And this is your time. At the end, we'll have questions and answers. If you have your questions, or if not, just get them ready. Think about it, and then you'll get to ask afterwards.
Can I ask? I'll try to answer.
Yeah.
Thank you for allowing me to be here. I appreciate the invitation. Public speaking is not my forte, so.
You want to grab the mic? So just grab it with your hand. Pull it out. Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna move around that much. Probably. Okay. Sure. Is that good? No. So the only reason I brought this poster is just kind of a reminder. It is the autonomic nervous system, meaning basically what's being controlled that you don't think about. Because if we all had to stand around thinking about, well, I need to digest that good lunch we just had, and how much do I need to breathe, and how fast should my heart, we'd die because we'd get busy thinking of something else. And so all this is always going on. And basically, as a chiropractor, that's what I'm trying to do. I want to stimulate the brain by manipulation, moving things in the spinal cord, in the spine, and stimulating the spinal cord to stimulate the brain. Because, the brain is doing tens of thousands of things all the time. And once it gets into a pattern, that's the way it wants to do it. Just like, it's a habit. So if you get in a habit of walking strange, eventually your brain's going to think, well, this is the way I need to do it all the time, and it'll do it. So sometimes we got to kind of hit that ground fault reset. We got to reset things to get the brain out of that pattern into a new pattern. Is that going to be better? I don't know how it goes. I never wore it.
Yeah, I think it's like this.
Like this?
Yeah, to the back, yeah.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, that.
Okay.
Now you can talk with both hands.
So as a chiropractor, I don't heal anything. I don't claim to heal anything. I'm just helping to hit those reset buttons, so that this great gift that the one above, all healing comes from above down and inside out. We're hitting the reset button for us to heal from inside. Because we know if we feed the body right, keep it hydrated, keep it moving, God didn't leave us here just to suffer. We know we do suffer because of life, and usually our lifestyle choices causes suffering. So what causes the brain to get into a negative pattern? It's always stress. Whether stress is a physical stress, a chemical stress, an emotional stress, the brain's always going to react the same way. Stress is a threat, and a threat is life-threatening. In ancient times, if it was a stress, it was something trying to kill you, a lion, a bear, a guy with a big stick, something like that. So we go into fight or flight mode. We got to run away from it or kill what is the threat. Well, that's usually not our problems now, but we are constantly under stress. We are exposed to, like you ladies, you get up or you take a shower, wash your hair, do some conditioning, antiperspirant, makeup, lotion. Those are hundreds of chemicals that a lot of times, in order to make those lotions or whatever be the feel we want, this bubbly lotion that we want, those are harsh chemicals that is poison. It's toxic to our body, and those toxins build up over time. So when the brain perceives stress, a part of it known as the amygdala takes over, and it blocks our prefrontal cortex. Our prefrontal cortex is what it inhibits flexor muscles. So that's how come we can stand up straight and we're not drawing over. And you think about the person that's really threatened. If you're going to fight, you're going to draw up. You're going to tighten up these core muscles, try to protect your neck. And no matter, even if it's a financial stress, the brain's going to react the same way. It's going to tighten up the same muscles. Being ready to fight or flight, it's going to shunt blood away from our digestive system, put it out to the skeletal muscles. Because if we're going to run, we got to have blood, oxygen, all that go into our muscles so we can go. So, basically that's what a chiropractor does. We're known for headaches, back pain, all that. I don't have the ability to pull pain out of you. I'm resetting the brain, get you back in that prefrontal cortex. Your healing comes from inside. You heal, pain's going to go away. That's the long and short of it. So, do you have any questions about chiropractic or what I do as a chiropractor? No? Okay. I am between buildings at the time. So I've been working in Wayne County the past 18 years, but they're selling the building and I don't have an office. I am able to do house calls, that sort of stuff, so yes, ma'am, in Wayne County.
Can you explain a little bit some of the ill effects in our body that happen because of this stress? You've mentioned several, but I'm sure there are others in our organs and things like that, when you get the stress and all those pinch points all straightened out, that those ailments go away. Tell us what some of those problems are.
Okay, well, so if you're shunting blood away from your core organs for digestion, then you're not going to break down your food very well. You're not going to get the nutrition from it. And of course, if you're getting ready to run, your heart's already going to start pumping faster. So you're going to have elevated blood pressure and stuff. So I can't say, if you come see me and I'm going to just, I don't know, we'll try in the neck, in the cervical spine, 3, 4, and 5, that controls your diaphragm. So if I adjust this, that's going to fix all that. can't say that. It might do it the first time, might take 5 visits, because besides what I do to you, what are you going to do when you leave? Are you going to go eat eat a pristine, completely organic meal and drink crystal clear water with no contaminants in it and stay away from all your Wi-Fi? We're constantly bombarded with stressors, but by getting adjusted, it does help with dealing with that stress. There used to be lots of stories of chiropractors who were getting great results with total health care as a primary care physician. Now we have a lot more stress. You got a laptop, bring it in and look at how many different Wi-Fi there is bouncing around. There's something with the fire department I see back here. We probably got one in here. Who knows how many houses up and down the street. They're all bouncing this Wi-Fi stuff around you. And that is electromagnetic radiation. So basically, it's like standing up next to your microwave oven all the time. You know. Well, there is good stress too. There is healthy stress, and so, but you should be able to get excited and deal with that stress, and then once it's gone, calm back down and get back like you should be. It's a balance. It's the autonomic, the I'm sorry, it's the sympathetic and parasympathetic. So your sympathetic deals with all your fight or flight, getting you ready to go deal with stuff, and then the parasympathetic slows you back down, balances you back out, so you can sleep and you can digest your food and that stuff. Yes, ma'am.
Would a child or what is the best time to start chiropractic? Or
At birth.
I've heard of friends who've had taken their little children there, and they've really gotten straightened out, really. I mean, right away, because they're, I guess they're still malleable, they can be
Right.
manipulated.
And
Movable.
most time people think of chiropractic, they thinking of the videos you see, and you really hear a lot of snapping, popping, cracking, stuff like that. Of course, you're not going to do that with a newborn. Lots of children do get adjusted right at birth. So, youngest I've ever adjusted was like 4 weeks old. Well, it wasn't the first patient I saw, I promise you.
Your body building up chemicals from different things like food you eat and all. Is there any particular sign that you could look for as to determine the level of the chemicals that you have accumulated in your body?
How far down that rabbit hole do you want to go? There's lots of ways of telling, but to know if you're accumulating heavy metals and stuff like that, they test your hair, your blood work, your basic test that your primary care physician can tell you a lot about it. But I study lots of stuff. I haven't personally done any studies, but yes, the gut is very important. It is the second brain because there's more neurons, meaning nerve cells, in the gut than there actually is in your brain. And it is very important. And we spend a lot of time. Americans, the American healthcare system, we are the most overfed, overpriced, most malnourished nation there is. Our food is, sprayed with glyphosate. Glyphosate was originally patented as an antibiotic. Well, we don't talk about that. It's Roundup that we're spraying on all of our food so that we get a better harvest, supposedly. But that's the selling point. Hmm.
Throughout the world.
Hmm.
And he recommends eating natto made from soybeans. And I believe David over here may be familiar with that too. Have you ever studied anything about that?
I have not.
Yeah. The natto will clear your arteries and keep them clean. It's a healthy food. It's quite popular in Japan.
Well, I do believe the cure to all diseases are here. I mean, no, we're not going to. We're all going to pass away at some time. That's what the good book says. It's appointed to all man to die. But if I'm going to live a long life, I don't want to spend it sick and in a hospital and all that, you know.
Is that not that slimy stuff?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yes, sir.
There are a lot of talks about inflammation in the body causing some of the diseases that we are dealing with. Is there anything in the chiropractic field that can help with reducing inflammation?
Depends on the source of inflammation, actually. But it's kind of going to sound like a cop-out answer, but anytime we're stimulating your central nervous system, you're probably going to sleep better. You're going to have a better heart rate, most likely. You know, as your brain and your nervous system is in balance, you know, it depends on what's driving that inflammation. Are you inflamed because you drink 3 or 4 sodas a day and you got way too much sugar? Is there a specific adjustment for inflammation? No, sir. But as things are functioning better, you're probably not going to have as much inflammation. You know, a joint that's not moving correctly, then your body tends to want to swell and be inflamed to keep it from moving because it's not moving correctly. Clearing that out can help inflammation go away. It depends on how you're looking at inflammation.
Which one? I mean, what's causing the inflammation? Is there a way to identify that?
Yeah, start with a food diary.
Okay.
That's where I'd start. What did you eat? How did you feel? Did you sleep? Did you have a bowel movement? If you had a bowel movement, is it that bowel movement you want? It's not diarrhea. You know, it's being self-aware is the best way to figure out inflammation. Yes.
You spoke a bit about physical stress, like being on the computer, watching a football game. What about emotional stress, like depression? Can chiropractor
it
help
will
with that?
Always be so in chiropractic we have a term, well, all doctors have a term for whatever they find, the diseased state or even the healthy state. There's a big fancy word for it. Chiropractic word is subluxation. Sub, of course, is less than it should be. Lux means light or power. In all medical terms with ation, A-T-I-O-N on the end of it, is a condition of. So a condition of less light or less power. And the subluxation is caused by the 3 T's, traumas, toxins, or thoughts. So thoughts being emotions. And, you know, a physical trauma that we don't think about is sitting too much. You know, we're humans. We're made to move. Most Western culture, we sit in a chair. We sit in a recliner. Hey, that's comfortable. But in those cultures where they don't really sit in furniture, they still squat, sit on the ground, they don't have low back pain. Got to keep that range of motion. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is good, even here on Earth. You know, when you exercise and stuff, the vibration, a vibe plate, it's stimulating you, getting more feedback back to your brain. So, yes, sir.
I'm just gonna do a translation here for a question that
Okay.
my neighbor he has here, and then his question was that when it comes to the physical, how much does stress play? Like let's say you're a construction worker,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously there's a lot of stress, but you're performing. How much does stress hinders your physical? I guess that was his question.
That's hard to quantify because some stress is good. We need stress. If we didn't, people who lift weights and they want more muscle, that's a stress. You got to add more weight, more stress to get a larger muscle. But you got to have balance. If you're in the gym working out, you work out arms one day, you don't do that the next day. You give them some healing time. So the industrial athlete, which is basically what a working person is, it just depends. Because humans weren't really made to do one thing every day, all day long. We were meant to move around. We're meant to walk, carry a load. But to sit at a computer or at one machine all day doing the same thing, that is a stress. But then there's the stress of, well, if I don't do this, what am I going to do? I got to pay the bills. I got to feed my family. So it's hard to quantify that. So what is too much? That just depends. Some people thrive on that stress of, I got a deadline to meet, and other ones fall apart. They just can't deal with it. I'm sorry that I don't have a better answer for that, but it is really hard to quantify.
Also that whenever you're sitting quietly, like sitting in front of a computer or something, after 1 hour, your body will start getting older, like aging, 10 times as fast afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to get up and move about every 45 minutes. If you don't do anything but just stand up and walk through the house, stand up for 5 minutes. Sitting is the new smoking is what they want to say now. So.
Have you ever had a patient that was suffering with pelvic floor, what do you call it? Pelvic floor problems? Or is that kind of not?
Okay, so the nerves in the the lowest part of the actual spine, the lumbar spine, and then down into the sacrum, what most people are going to call their tailbone. That's where the nerves come out, and it is possible to help if they've had a trauma, a hard set down, something like that. That can cause you issues. I was talking about how certain muscles are going to tighten up. You have the psoas muscle that attaches about where your ribs stop, but it comes through to the front of your leg. So when it tightens up, it's keeping pressure on this all the time. That could put pressure on a nerve. It could put pressure on blood flow going there. It's possible.
A male, not a female. I know female, that problem is common with females, but, if it's a male, and also if they've been lifting like refrigerators and heavy things like that, and that would strain a lot of different muscles, I imagine. But I just wondered if there was any if you had ever dealt with anything with a male with pelvic floor problems that you can think of.
It's not very common, but yes. And, I can't say that, well, if I adjust you and adjust a certain segment, that it's always going to clear up. It may clear up quick. It may not clear up at all. It depends on what caused it. How long's that problem been there? A nerve will die eventually if it's had pressure put on it long enough. So are no absolutes with people. You can.
My question was, do we grow new nerves? That's hard to say.
You can. Again, it's going to go back to, do you feed them right, give them the right B vitamins, stuff like that. That tends to help it. They used to say, once your brain cell is gone, it's gone. But we do know you can make new, it's called a synapse, meaning how that nerve functions. If you've had damage on one side of the brain, a lot of times the other side will take over, and eventually you can get that back. There are sometimes new growth of nerves, and sometimes other nerves just take over for it. Does that make sense?
She's had this concussion without healing for almost 5 years, and so she cannot be left alone to live alone. Will soon be 25 years old, was a 4-point GPA, university student, et cetera, but she's not that now. She can be very brilliant for 45 minutes or an hour, and then her brain, she says, hurts. So then she slips into a 2-year-old mold and talks baby talk, etc. Anyway, so if you can grow new nerves, that's good news.
Mm-hmm. I'll show you an article that I was reading this morning when we finish. I'll let you look at that. Always do your research. Don't take anything for granted. Don't take anything I say. If somebody ever says this is absolutely the only way, look at something else. I want to say basically to be healthy is if you see it on TV or the government tells you to do it, do the opposite. You'll probably be okay, especially if you're doing what the Bible tells you. But even then, that's not an absolute. It may apply 90% of the time, but there's a grain of truth in most things. Even the devil could quote scripture, So, but now we have so much information. Most people carry around more information than most of the world is known, and it's there all the time. So, look up your information and see who paid for that study.
Dr. Tracy,
Yes.
you've mentioned the cell phone 2 or 3 times. Do you have a good solution how we can deal with the cell phone the best way and do the least amount of damage to us?
Keep it as far away from you as you can. It's the best you can do. It's so ingrained in our society now, it's hard to get away from them. Who's
Driving, Alex, if we're driving, we can always take that phone and put it away from us.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a help. And say I drive a truck, so when I get in the truck, I put it in the holder. But when I'm at home, I don't think much about it, but I carry it with me, and I all day and I do things, and like church day, like today, I got it in my pocket right here.
Right over your heart. Huh?
And sometimes I'll put it in my pocket, but then I can't feel it vibrate. And sometimes I need to, see who's calling. So I guess we got excuses, but
Oh,
we really need to put that thing as far from our heart as possible, right?
yes, sir. And how long have cell phones been common? Y'all like me, biggest part of our life, we lived without one. We survived it, didn't we?
Yeah. And now we don't know how we did. But it causes more pressure too.
Who's? Yeah, but then if you're worrying about what did you
Oh.
miss, you have to look at it all the time.
Yes, they tell you that usually when you put it in airplane mode, that helps, to block. But I don't know. I think the messages still come through, but I don't think the calls come. So
So let's see. Just to show you how disruptive a cell phone can be. I don't know. What about you? Do you have any shoulder issues? Do you mind for just a second? So now anyone can do this. It's not just some parlor trick that just I know how to do. If you would just kind of turn facing me. Yes, face me. All right. So do you have a cell phone on you? If you would just set it down. Well, we'll use your cell phone. So it let you know it's not mine. So which arm is strongest? Right arm, left arm?
I'm left-handed.
If you would just hold your arm straight out, straight ahead. Because we want to test the same muscles each time. I'm going to push down. Don't let me. Hold it tight. Hardly even wiggles, right? Hold on to your phone. And just ever how you're comfortable. Again, don't let me push down. Okay, and hold again. You're not getting tired, and this weighs a little more than that, but I'm not distracting you by having you hold something. It's your phone, and hold. So you can do that with anyone, It's they're just disruptive to our nervous system, and our brains don't like them. It will do that, yes, ma'am. Sugar, anything your body doesn't like, it'll show a weakness like that. Okay.
Okay, you told me once not to wear my billfold in the back pocket. And
Well, if you're sitting a lot,
what does it throw you out of line?
because then your pelvis is going. Then you got to compensate for that, because your brain always wants your eyes level with the horizon and your nose centered over your belly button. That's the most efficient way to carry your weight and keep you in balance. So you set.
Well, after you
Up all
told me
time.
that, I put it in my front pocket. And then sometime later, I was up in Kentucky coming home, and my back started hurting, but a little different than normal. And I found my billfold in my back pocket, so I didn't stop. I wiggled around. I got it in my front pocket. And about 20 minutes later, that pain went away. So I keep it in my front pocket.
Well. And a lot of times women will come in, oh, my shoulder hurts. You adjust it. Oh, it feels good. And they put their purse back on that shoulder. And it's just normal. There's weight on it. You're going to compensate for that.
I'm just surprised that nobody has asked you about knees and knees replacements and all these things. I know a lot of people that always complain about knee pain, and a lot of them have replaced their knees. What can you tell us about it, and how can we prevent getting to that point? Because I know that's not natural, so. Anything you can tell us?
Of course, I'm going to say get adjusted, keep balanced, or, kind chiropractic's only been around since 1895. You know, people have been healthy before chiropractors came along. Even though that's what I do and I like it, but I know it's not the only thing you can do. Keeping moving is the best things you can do. And keeping in
Any specific exercises or?
knee exercises. No, because it's going to depend. Everything, it depends. And a lot of times, so your back can give you knee problems. Your knee can give you back problems. Chicken and egg. A lot of times the ankle can. So the very top bone of the foot is known as the talus, and it sits between the tibia and the fibula. And it'll tend to slide forward over time. Then that foot doesn't work well. Well, that's already stretched out those bones and caused them to turn. And then you're going to have a knee problem. And then you'll give to it and own up the kinetic chain. Kinetic is movement, and that chain, how things are moving or not moving, is going to affect each other.
Okay.
I don't have a specific knee exercise or ankle exercise, but, you know, we do need to be self-aware to move things around and get them to move all the time. Don't let them get stuck. And
Okay. Anybody else? Because I forgot what.
there's
what
a
our-
couple.
I was just going to say that most knee problems in older people are caused by arthritis. They get, lots of little jabs here and there, and that's usually what older people have, or could be an injury of some sort in anybody, but arthritis is one of the biggest issues.
True.
So we need to find out how to how to avoid that.
Arth,
but what
arth
about
means joint. Itis means inflammation, so that's an inflamed joint. So what's causing
what's
the
causing the inflammation in the joint?
It's like we were
Back
talking
to
about
the diet, I
inflammation
guess.
earlier. It just depends. Yes, ma'am. They can. Refined starches and sugars.
I receive offers in the internet all the time from those stretch labs. Can stretching help with pain in joints or?
It can. Because once there's inflammation in there, we'll tend to not move it. When you're not moving, you're not going to pump those fluids out, the negative out, and get the good in. Stretching a lot of times can help.
So,
Again, it depends. Like when you got low back pain, most of the time I'm going to tell you, try to do a toe touch. When that lumbar's all acting up, don't do that because that's going to make it worse. So
does chiropractic address that flexibility and stretching?
a lot of times, yes, sir. Because so you have lots of what are known as accessory muscles that go down the spine. So the little knots you can feel that stick out on on your back or a person's back, that's known as a spinous process. Anything sticks off a bone is some kind of process. And even going this way, you have a lateral process too. So you have little tiny muscles that are stabilizing muscles. They would go between spinous processes, from the spinous over to a transverse, from transverse to transverse, and they get to, sometimes that signal is not there. Because if you're going to I'm going to pick up something heavy, well, even something simple as this, you're going to stabilize. Because if you don't, you're going to stabilize before these other core muscles start moving. Stretching a lot of times will help reconnect the brain and those tiny muscles so that they're doing their job. They're stabilizing before you actually start moving. Stretching generally is a good thing.
Can this help with a degenerative disc?
Yes. All right. So depends on what causes the degenerative disc. Most of the time, It's dehydration over time, subclinical dehydration. Most of us don't need to go to the ER and get fluids, but we don't. A lot of times we just don't drink enough, or we drink so much caffeines and stuff. Probably not you guys in general, but Americans in general drink so much caffeine we stay a little bit dehydrated over time. And when stuff is not moving, you're not stretching and stuff, you're not pumping, getting those discs to move, you won't get fluids into it, and it dries out over time. Desiccation, big fancy word for it's drying out. And then that's going to cause the degenerative disc.
My son calls from Washington State to remind me to drink water.
Well, yeah.
For my memory.
That's good. It's working, huh? Great. Yes, sir.
You said that if you don't have enough liquid like water or whatever, then the discs will have a tendency to get dry, discs between your vertebrae?
Yes, sir. They can.
Okay.
But and it's not truly dry, but it's a ligament. You know, ligaments connect bones together. Tendons connect a muscle to a bone, but ligaments connect bone to bone. And if it's not moving, it's stuck, or you're not stretching. So think about it. If this guy leans forward, it's going to open up that space in there. Well, that's going to create a vacuum between each bone create a vacuum in that disc. And that's going to help pull fluids into it. But if you're dehydrated, there's no liquid to pull in it, it just can't.
What would you recommend for sciatic nerve to, when you have it like really bad?
To prevent it, or you already got it?
Well, I mean, I guess it's from time to time it comes back like worse. But yeah, what would you recommend, for those situations?
I'm a chiropractor. I'm going to say get adjusted, but
So
besides that, walking is really good. How's your nutrition? Are you getting enough B vitamins? B6 is going to help heal that nerve. B12 is going to help the function of the nerve. The old-fashioned eat lots of leafy greens. Unless you're on a blood thinner, then you can't do that. I mean,
is there a way to, correct it completely, or is it once you have it, it's always there?
Oh, we're self-healing organisms. You treat your body right, it'll heal.
Mm.
Right? Don't you think? Don't you think we are self-healing organisms? Yeah, we can hinder it and we can help it, but we can't cause it. And you cut your finger, no matter how much you wishing on it, it doesn't change the speed of it healing. And if you wrap it up in something and you don't see it, you're not thinking about it, it still heals. So. Seems like it. I don't know for sure, but I'm just saying, while we're alive and we can get a cut, it heals. If it's a cadaver, someone who's done passed away, you can put all the neosporin, whatever you want to it. That cut doesn't heal. Right? Okay. I hope I didn't make more questions than answers, and if I did, maybe that's a good thing. Then you'll want to look and find out. So, any other questions?
It often happens that way because if we come to the meeting and you bring up this about the bone structure and the nerves and all, we haven't really had a lot of time to think about that very much to bring out some questions.
I probably think of a lot of them on the way home, right? Yes, ma'am.
Well, I had an experience with sciatica, really bad. Actually, what I had was a herniated disc in my L4-5, and this has been years ago. And I went to the chiropractor quite a few times, and he did give me some relief. And then Mr. Dickman, he called me, and when he found out I was having this problem, he called me and he said, you know, he said, I had 2 herniated discs at one time. He said, and what helped me was going to a massage therapist. And I happened to, my friends in Corinth, they told me about this woman who was down there. She was excellent massage therapist. And I couldn't sit, I couldn't do anything. I was off work, and so I went down to her. And in 2 times, I was able to sit. I mean, I was in such pain I couldn't do anything. And in 2 times massage therapy, she was very knowledgeable, and she told me, you know, what she was doing. She was pushing all that, the crystals of lactic acid and different things out of the muscles. And within about 3 times, I was able to go back to work. You know, it was amazing because I could not do anything. It was so painful. So I really, you know, I appreciated the chiropractor, but he, you know, I had to go a little bit further than that because of what was going on. So, but it was amazing.
Yeah, I'm not, and this is going to sound sacrilegious, but I don't mean for it to, but I'm not Jesus. Yeah, I don't, if you come to me, I'm not going to lay hands on you one time and you're 18 without an ache and pain, you know. Every now and then we get those, but it's, and so just because you didn't get immediate relief, does that mean he didn't help you at all? No, you said he helped. So, and you know, it takes time. Healing is a process. And that lady, and I'm not discounting the massage, because she got those muscles to relax. Because if that muscle's staying tight, you know, that's going to keep pressure on that nerve. So it's a combination. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
She's still in practice. No, ma'am, she moved away. Oh, I have a neighbor that needs a lot of stuff.
Yes, sir.
Along the same line, there was once upon a time there used to be a big chasm between Western medicine and chiropractic. Does that still exist, or is the gap closing somewhat?
Somewhat. In the 80s, I'm sorry, I can't recall the exact year, finally, through court order, the AMA, the American Medical Association, could no longer say, don't go to a chiropractor, he's going to make you worse. But since the early 1900s, because used to in the 1800s or early 1900s and back, a physician was a naturopath. He was everything all rolled into one, and they used lots of natural healing methods. As big money took over pharmaceuticals, they took over the medical schools also, and so then they're taught how to diagnose and give a prescription for that, for a patent medicine. And now we are seeing a lot more of the complementary alternative medicines, so massage and acupuncture and chiropractic and that kind of stuff. It is getting better.
That's good.
Area. Oh, very much.
Not very much. But, I have no problems with it. It works.
Is that somewhat of a different field than what you do in chiropractic work?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I mean, as a chiropractor, we can kind of help you decide what supplements and stuff like that to take, where a naturopath is going to be more into herbs and things. And each chiropractor, you know, they're individuals. They can do that if that's the way they see it and want to. Some chiropractors only want to do musculoskeletal stuff. And pain is usually what brings people to a chiropractor. But as I said earlier, I can't take pain out of you. But if I can help your brain, your central nervous system function better and you heal and your pain goes away, I've done my job and you got what you wanted. So.
Do you know if there is a difference? Let's say a person is living a sedentary lifestyle, someone, office worker and all, and he might walk, for his exercise. But if you do stressful activities regularly, will that have any effect on the strength and size of your nerves?
Sure. It will. It's going to have some. I don't know, 3 hours of exercise a week going to offset 40 hours of sitting down doing nothing? It's going to help. But, as I think we talked about earlier, if you're at the computer and 45 minutes or so, you need to get up, walk around, do some squats, whatever. Just get motion in your joints, in your spine, heart rate up a little bit. Not necessarily do all jumping jacks the whole time, but yes.
Where I came from, a lot of the chiropractors did acupuncture. Can you explain what the relationship is there?
Can I explain the relationship? They're not anything alike. They are alike in that they're an alternative way of stimulating your inner healing, but they're way different. And I don't know enough about acupuncture to accurately tell that. I have taken some dry needling, which is needlework, but that's more of releasing myofascial, where acupuncture is more to help with help heal a disease, help your body function better, to heal better. And it's energy work, where fascia is, it's kind of like a saran wrap that is around each compartment, each piece of muscle. It helps because, although this is my arm, different motion causes different muscles doing different things, and they need to slide past each other. Sometimes that fascia can kind of get stuck, and doing that dry needle work helps release that and gets, you're going to make me not remember this big word. It's not endorphins, but it helps get the fluids and stuff moving again so that the fascia releases and the muscle works better, pain goes away. But acupuncture, I only know enough to kind of be dangerous with that. I don't really want to say this is acupuncture, this is chiropractic, other than it is needlework. And there's, over 2,000 years of using acupuncture, so obviously it has benefit. Good for you. Okay. What wears out the disc?
I've heard people that, they have been to the doctors and they are told that, there's nothing they can do for that. They're going to have to live with pain the rest of their lives because their discs they're worn out. How did they get to the point, and how can it be avoided?
So they can wear because of not being hydrated enough, something staying stuck and keeping it in that position for too long. So keep it moving, do yoga, qigong, plain old walking. There's a lot of things we can do to just keep it going. Rebounding, yeah. And staying hydrated. Don't drink soda all day, even if it is diet soda. To me, I think they're worse than the sugar, but... You had a question? Yes, sir.
Thoughts on spinal decompression with regard to herniated discs?
It can work. Again, it is opening up that disc space to draw fluid into it and fluff the disc back up. Spinal decompression is computer controlled versus the teeter hang-up you see on TV and stuff. Teeter, that inversion table can be good, but if you're already hurting, you're already inflamed, a lot of times it'll cause those muscles to just spasm, and it doesn't do any good. Where the decompression is, like I said, it's computer controlled, and it eases that pressure on there, and it gives it a pumping action to help fluff that disc back up.
So is it something you got to continue doing, or is it
Usually
sustainable?
not.
once?
Usually it's 18, 20 some odd visits, and then usually you don't have to keep doing it.
So
Again,
surgery is not necessarily the only option
no.
for the spinal.
So surgery should be your last option.
Okay.
Because you can always have surgery, but you can't ever take that surgery back.
Yeah.
And how many people do you know that's had a neck or back surgery that had one surgery? Yes, sir.
Different repairs like your hip joint and your knee joint. There's been a lot of that. The doctors are real busy with repairing knees. Now, after they put in metal, like in their knee, from the femur bone down to the other bone below, they put a disc in between there. And have you ever learned if that disc is lubricated as well as it was originally before you had any
Is it
knee work done?
lubricated as well? Can't be. It's going to have some just because there's fluid there, but it's not a synovial joint. So, and that's the fluid that your body makes. That's kind of an oily lubricant in there. But if that body part's not there, how can it be making it? So it is going to be wet. It will be somewhat, but those wear out too.
I have had friends that have used, pastor friends, the teeter board that you reference. Do you recommend that if you're not having any, back issues? I mean, just for preventive and maintenance, is that a good thing?
It can be, because again, when you reverse gravity, so gravity's always pushing down on you. When you hang up the other way, it's going to be stretching that out. It can pull fluids in there. As long as you don't have a sequestered piece of disc or bone, meaning something's broke off and just floating around in there, that can, get in a place that's really giving you grief if you have that. Most people don't, or if they do, they already know about it. So it's possible. It can help. Okay. Thank y'all for your time. I hope I helped some and didn't confuse too much. And it was a pleasure meeting all you people. Thanks for the meal, and I wish y'all the best in health. If there's anything I can do for you, I'll be glad to do my best. Thank you.
Okay, just a second here. Okay, well, thank you so much. It was very informative. I really enjoyed the time, the questions, and thank you all for being here. It was a pleasure, and I have a sign-up sheet somewhere in here. I'll pass it on for those of you that, if you would like to be informed of future events that will be presenting here, so that we can let you know. And we have just a little thank you gift for Dr. Richardson. Thank you so much. And